The Raptor football took a lot of time and engineering, a lot of prototypes to make it work as well as it does. Let's walk through some of those design features. First, you're going to notice the Raptor football is very light. The Raptor football actually weighs less than a full-size NFL football. Now, the core of the Raptor football is actually this aluminum tube. This aluminum tube is made from a 7075 T6 aluminum alloy that is extremely strong. It's actually one of the strongest aluminum alloys you can buy, usually reserved for the aerospace industry. This aluminum tube allows a product to crash over and over and retain its structural rigidity. We actually have this aluminum tube custom made for our size at a 15mm diameter to handle the stress when it crashes. Now, when the product actually does crash, say straight to the ground, this is actually the worst crash it can go through when it crashes downward like this. A lot of stress is imparted into the aluminum tube because the weight of the wings and the weight of the bracket all tend to twist, and a lot of energy is focused right here. Now, to increase the strength of the aluminum tube, we actually have designed a custom insert. This is a polycarbonate, but it's 40% glass-filled polycarbonate. This piece is actually manufactured with a slight curve to it and is put into this aluminum tube in the right orientation such that when it's installed in the right location, it actually creates a preload that resists the crash when the product hits the ground. So this is actually a key feature that increases the durability of that aluminum tube. The next feature of the Raptor football is we have an EVA front foam and an EPP middle foam. Now, the EVA front foam is very durable, meaning it can crash over and over into the ground and still retain its shape. The downside is that EVA foam is actually very dense and heavy. If this whole product were made in EVA foam, the Raptor football will be too heavy to throw. Therefore, most of the volume of the body is comprised of this EPP foam. This EPP foam, which is expanded polypropylene, is very lightweight, but it can resist being pressed into. For instance, if you press in the EPP foam, it bounces back. This is contrary to an EPS foam. EPS foam normally you find in your packaging or part. When you press into it, it stays dented. This doesn't dent. Now, to increase the reliability of this EPP foam, these stickers that go on the Raptor football body actually help to protect the EPP foam from your hands. Sometimes when you're throwing it and being very aggressive, your fingers can dig into that foam and ruin it. So these stickers actually help protect the EPP foam from any damage. The next feature you're probably going to notice is that when you place the product down onto a table, it stays upright. Well, that's because we have an integrated table stand or floor stand integrated into the bottom of the product. This allows the Raptor football to be placed on top of a table and remain upright, which is aesthetically pleasing, but also, say you're crashing into the pavement. This floor stand keeps the foam above the pavement so you don't destroy your foam when you crash. So it actually has another dual purpose. The next feature you're going to notice about the Raptor football is we have an adjustable horizontal tail. Back here at the rear there's a thumb screw. When you turn this thumb screw clockwise, you're increasing this angle of attack on the tail. When you go counterclockwise, you're decreasing it. So when you're throwing at short distances, say 20 to 30 yards, you're going to need more tail, which means you're going to need more clockwise into the tail to lift it up. Now when you throw it really fast, you're going to dial this back. In fact, when you're really throwing as fast as you can for an adult, you're pretty much going to have almost no lift being generated or no upward angle on this tail. Another design feature of the Raptor football is the wing bracket. This wing bracket raises the wings above the rest of the product. Now, this actually has two purposes. One, when you throw it, it actually allows you to throw the Raptor football and the wings will clear your head. Two, when the product's in the air, it has to be inherently stable in its overall design. The higher the wings are, the more stable the product. So this height between the majority of the mass of the body down here and the wings being up high makes it very stable in flight. Another design feature that makes the Raptor football stable in flight is the inherent dihedral angle built into the wings. You'll notice that these wings are not flat across the horizon, they actually angle upward. What this does is say you're flying through the air and you're at this angle, this wing is making more lift than that wing and it'll lift it up. The same way when it's flying this direction, this wing is making more lift than that wing and it'll lift it back up. So this dihedral angle also contributes to the inherent stability of the overall product. Another design feature is the spinner here at the rear end. Now, the spinner is a throwing aid. What you do when you throw the Raptor football, you take your first two fingers, your first finger and your middle finger, and you place it on the back surface of that spinner. You'll notice the spinner has these extensions. These extensions are designed to warn you not to put your fingers above them. So don't press the spinners, but put them right below. So when you throw the Raptor football, some people might tend to spin their hand one way or spin their hand the other way. You don't want to impart a spin on the Raptor football because you're going to basically spiral it right after you throw it. So this takes out the torque. So this is a torque canceling feature that allows new people to throw the Raptor football much more easily. Another design feature is our use of different polymers for different areas of the Raptor football. For instance, everything from here up is all polypropylene. Polypropylene is a very light plastic because these parts are not as structural. To the contrary, this piece in here is polycarbonate. Polycarbonate is the same material used to make bulletproof windows. This wing bracket goes through a lot of abuse. This is actually one of our stronger parts in the whole product, is this wing bracket. Now, the wing in the horizontal tail and the vertical tail, those are ABS. ABS is a good combination of relatively low density with relatively high strength, which means you crash this, they bounce back into the shape they're originally at. Now, through the selective use of all these polymers, we're able to keep the overall weight of the Raptor football below a full-size NFL football. Now, another design feature of the Raptor football is the actual construction of the wings themselves. These ABS wings are designed to be rigid while flying, but if they're to hit you, you can actually deform the wings so they don't do any damage. For instance, if this crashes into your body, the wings deform and flex, creating no damage, but they're rigid enough to support the product while it flies. And those are just some of the features that make the Raptor football work as well as it does.
Don't be caught playing with your old football. Upgrade to the Raptor football, the world's first flying football.